Eagles versus the Souderton Indians. Souderton has a 3-point lead, 17-14 against the Eagles, and it'll be interesting to see how Norristown responds coming out of this halftime break.
What do you think about these pretzels, Steve?
I'm glad you brought them in. They're great. These are great Philadelphia pretzels, and you can't turn them down either.
The thing I like best about them is and they make you work for it. The outside is like a little bit crispy. That is what you like. Good texture. But inside, it's the doughy goodness that you prize so much in the prime Philadelphia pretzel. And Souderton's interpretation, a new twist on an old classic twist like the pretzel, is really good, really apt, and very delicious. I wholeheartedly endorse these pretzels.
And I'll second that motion. These are really good, but getting back to the goodness on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a representative of the United States Army. Let's hear for that man.
So we have 12 minutes on the clock. Teams still have not taken the field yet, but will shortly.
Thank you guys for the job you do.
And all right, so Mr. Fazzini, let's talk a little bit about the second half here. All right, what's Norristown going to do when they come out?
Norristown's got to score on the first drive. Other than that, Norristown's got to stop the run. But a convincing score on the first drive will really go a long way to saying to Souderton, you know, we're not going to lie down and take it anymore. We're not going to let you beat us up with the run. We're back in business, and we're going to get ahead, and we're going to win this game. I was very heartened to see that so many of the Norristown students made the drive up here, the pilgrimage, as you were, the Canterbury Tales-esque pilgrimage to scenic farmland of Souderton, to come up and pay homage, as it were, to the effort that their Norristown Gridiron Heroes Eagles have been doing. So, good to see. And these pretzels are so delicious that it's really difficult to think about anything else, which in large part accounts for why I just said that.
There's that great line from Seinfeld, you know, these pretzels are making me thirsty, and they are, but they're very delicious as well. I see you brought your water. You're thinking ahead here.
Good old Wawa delicious spring water.
There you go.
The delicious amalgam of hydrogen and oxygen has yet to let me down. All right, teams are warming up here. It's a bit nippy out here. The cold, frosty air makes us reminds us that fall can still happen. And Steve, you're a meteorologist. You're into that kind of stuff. What have you been thinking? Have you been thinking about any of the adverse effects? You know, I don't know, about possible climate change. We don't need to get political here.
You don't want to mention that dirty word, global warming. No. Well, you know, this season especially started out and can continue to be much warmer. This year has been much warmer than average so far, and definitely unusual temperatures this time. As we saw last week, it was much warmer than it normally should be in October, and finally this week we'll start to see cooler temperatures, especially here tonight. It's getting cooler than it has been the past couple of nights.
And Souderton has a nice press box up top, and there's a lot of room up top for the camera crew, but our young cameramen, our intrepid cameramen, Evan Mitchell and Steve Schrack are up there in the cold right now, so a lot of accolades. You know, shout-outs have to go to them for braving the elements, standing up there in the gale force winds, and
not much anymore.
Suffering through it.
They've gotten lucky that the wind has died down in the past couple of hours. When we first arrived here, it was really coming hard from the southwest, and now that has changed. Right now, the flag isn't blowing as much as it was. So again, that'll also maybe help the players a little bit too.
Yeah, maybe the players will calm down a little bit, and they won't get nervous, they won't get cold, and they'll be able to play in their element, stay heads up, and make some plays. Big crowd here tonight for Souderton. Nice to see people coming out and supporting their local football team. Very nice to see. Lovely campus, lovely grounds here, and everybody's been great, very hospitable to us, and everything's going very well. Except for the Norristown Eagles, where everything's not going very well. It had been going very well up until about 5 minutes left in the first quarter when kind of the bottom fell out. But Norristown looks like they're coming out here. They look pumped up and fired up. And we're ready to go here. We're going to get it on, and we're going to have an exciting second half of hard-hitting football action.
Well, we've mentioned it countless times in previous broadcasts, and that Norristown is a second-half team. Let's see if they can prove that and not make a liar out of us.
Well, they didn't make a liar out of us last week, Steve. They won that game largely based on their defensive effort in the second half. And for the Eagles, that was exactly what the doctor ordered. They needed to win a game like that, and needed to win a close game and a defensive struggle. They can't blow everyone out, and they needed to really have their defense come up big last week at homecoming, and that's exactly what happened. The defense needs a repeat performance of that tonight. They need to clamp down on this explosive Souderton offense. This explosive Souderton offense that's racked up 261 yards, 245 points, in their game so far this year, and Norristown needs to put the clamps down. Norristown will receive here in the second half, Steve. And I see a key to this second half as being getting Russell Graham keyed up back in the game and getting that Graham to Denalfi connection that's worked so well throughout this year up to speed.
And I agree with you on that. Why not go with something that has been tested and something that works? And we haven't seen enough of that this game.
Well, the first time they did it, they scored a touchdown. Playing the game of percentages. First time you do, you score a touchdown. You think you go back to it again, putting some more points on the board. And Denalfi, you see him out here warming up, making some catches. He's sure-handed, quick-footed, and possessed with incredible foresight.
Okay, so we'll be getting this second half started shortly as
game's now underway. My buddy Wiz back here.
Norristown will be receiving.
There are a lot of people at the snack stands. I think they heard me about these pretzels. These pretzels are nothing short of spectacular.
All of a sudden, that reference you mentioned earlier at in the pregame about buffet comps, well,
right.
It reminds you of a buffet comp line right now.
It does. It reminds me of the buffet comp line down at the casino. Everybody's down there trying to get their free pass to see Tom Jones or get their free buffet. Got to cash in those comps and see what happens. Incidentally, Steve, I've never admitted this before, but I guess I don't, I'm not ashamed of it.
What happens behind closed doors does not have to enter into this
conversation. Steve, I'm talking about Tom Jones. I've seen Tom Jones 3 times in concert, and he's, a lot of people are, the younger generation maybe not so much on board with Tom Jones and his philosophy. But Tom Jones is a great singer and a fantastic performer, and I kind of like to see him again. A little bit of Tom Jones couldn't hurt anybody. Little Tom Jones out there might be able to get people fired up.
You think the band should go with some Tom Jones as well? All right, here's the kickoff. Running back with it.
Anthony Wise is going to need to do a better job on the kickoff, on getting the kickoff than that. He's normally sure-handed, and he's able to put the ball away and get off and running. But that time, Anthony Wise didn't do such a great job picking up that ball.
All right, so Norristown will start with the ball on their 16-yard line.
Graham's got backs in the eye here.
All right, Graham hands off. Up the middle is Booker. And Matt Booker.
Nice run by Matt Booker. That's just what needed to happen. Norristown needs to get off, get the ball on the ground. Now we got to open it up with Graham to Denalfi, and we'll be all set.
11:31 now in the third quarter. That brings up second down and 2 for Norristown. Ball on their 24-yard line. Backs again in the eye for Graham. Graham hands off. and immediately tackled.
That's going to be close
A
to
punishing blast on Ron Davis right there. Ron Davis, normally with his kind of Beowulf strength, is the one dishing out the punishment as opposed to receiving it. And that time, Beowulf was on the receiving end of a couple of hard hits.
Oh, it was a first down. Before it just wasn't changed. Just barely got it.
So that way we're comparing Souderton's defense sort of to Grendel. Am I correct?
To Grendel,
Right.
right.
Yeah, we just want to make that known. By the way, the movie is coming out, and I know you.
I can't wait for that movie.
So, all right, let's see. Norristown has the ball on their 26. Here's the handoff again to Matt Booker. He breaks free, and Matt Booker's taking it. Look at this, Matt Booker. He's on the sideline, finally taken down. And here's a flag on the play. Matt Booker, explosive run.
We got to see about this flag. Matt Booker was clear into the open field, and Matt Booker with a heck of a run. That's the kind of speed and strength you expect to see from Booker.
We'll see what the penalty here is. Block on the offense.
Oh, illegal block.
Illegal block.
Down.
Need after a run like that.
That's going to be a spot foul. That's going to be coming back. We'll see where the referee spots it. We'll see where that happened.
And they're going to push him back. We'll see how far.
All right, placing the ball on the 30-yard line.
With that penalty, the Eagles will have first and 10 from the Souderton 30-yard line.
It's a spot foul there. Unlike in the pros when that ball would have come back all the way, in the high school game the ball is placed at the spot of the infraction, and then the penalty's taken from there.
All right, 10 minutes, 14 seconds now in the third quarter. Norristown on the 30-yard line of Souderton. Graham hands off there
Hands off there.
to Anthony Wise, and really, Graham, there seemed to be some miscommunication on that.
There were definitely some shenanigans on that handoff right there. And what could have been a much longer gain was actually stifled by a little bit of miscommunication between Graham and Mayer. Or Graham and Wise, I'm sorry, on that play.
All right, that'll bring up second down and 8, 9:41 to play here in the third quarter.
Going by that, the last play before this one, didn't mean stop. So that brings up
All right, backs in the eye for
the Eagles here.
Graham. Graham fakes, hands off. Here's the run, continuing to go, and that is Brandon Ellis with the run there.
So, it appears that Souderton's not the only one who can do the Gunther Gable Williams-esque weird Ringling Brothers tricks on offense. Norristown has more than a few tricks up their sleeve as well, as that handoff, inside handoff to number 18, Brandon Ellis proves.
Okay, first down and 10 for Norristown. Just under 9 minutes here in the third quarter.
Putting his leg out like that probably gives him a good edge. Now the handoff with the middle.
Good solid blocking by the Eagles' offensive line as Booker takes it up the middle.
Okay, that brings up second down and 5 for Norristown, and a score here would really be nice.
A score here would really be essential.
I would say probably get really comfortable that way or constantly.
Graham hands off again. Booker stopped. And you had to think they knew where that play
Looked
was
like he
coming.
put the ball on the ground. We're going to see who comes up with it. It may be a fumble. We're going to see what happens. Who comes up with it at the bottom of the pile. Looks like Norristown retains control of the ball. It's going to be second down and 6 here. But Norristown really has to be more careful with that ball. I mean, we talked about the penchant of the Souderton Indians to turn it over in the first half. Norristown really can't follow their lead. Norristown's going to have to hold on to the ball and be very kind of stingy with it if they're going to win this game here tonight.
Third down and 5. Graham has it. Graham passes. He's going to Denolfi. Denolfi catches the ball, and it's a touchdown. Alex Dinolfi.
Let me tell you this. When you throw the ball to Alex Dinolfi, you win football games. When you don't throw it to him, you lose them.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Okay, so
I like speaking in absolutes, Steve. They're so comforting.
7 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock, and Norristown has regained the lead, can add the extra point. Oh, let's see. Dinolfi runs with it. Fake there. Dinolfi's going for the conversion. Does it break the pylon? No, it doesn't.
Great defense by Souderton there. Dinolfi looked like he had a clear corner. He almost dove for it, but good job by Souderton to shut him down there. So it's going to be 20-17 instead of 21-17. Very good defense by Souderton.
On that play, would you have gone for the sure extra point, or would you have done what they just did there?
I think it was a bit of a high. I think it was a high snap. I'm not sure that was intended, but I would have kicked it.
Okay, so with 7:52 on the clock here in the third quarter, Norristown regains the lead, 22-17 over Souderton. Still, you can't be at ease at all if you're a Norristown fan right now, because there's still plenty of the half to be played.
No, you certainly can't be at ease, Steve, and there's more than enough time for the vaunted Souderton offense to come back. But Graham to Dinolfi, that's 2 touchdowns tonight from Russell Graham to Alex Dinolfi.
Okay, now we'll get a chance to see Norristown's defense to see if they can stop the offensive rushing here from Souderton.
What we're going to see here tonight is how well Norristown's defense has reacted to what I'm sure was Coach Brian Kennedy ripping into them at halftime. I'm certain that there were a few spicy words that Coach Kennedy chose to say to his defense based on their terrible effort for tackling in the first half.
Okay, here's Shawley, and he's taken down.
That weird kick yielded a great harvest for the Norristown Eagles defense, as they only brought it out to the 25, so maybe there was something to be said for that kind of dipsy-doodle, shenanigans-laden play right there. Now, Steve, Norristown Eagles would do well right here to apply some pressure, to break up the business in the backfield with Franklin, and to shut down that running game. If they can do that here on this drive, that'll be setting a good positive tone for the second half.
First and 10 from their Souderton's own 25. Let's see. Hands off. And Kramarenko stopped cold.
That's what they need to do. They need to set, and it's evident that they're making some adjustments to that dive play.
I mean, you've only been here for just this game, you know. You're a pretty good announcer for that.
Okay, 7:28 now in the third quarter.
What do you think of his power?
Second down and 10.
7:17 here to go in the third quarter. Second and 10.
Handoff here. And Brony has it. He gets loose and he's going midfield. And finally taken down at Norristown's 38-yard line. Finally, explosive run there by Brony.
Very big gain by Brony, and very poor play on the contain by the Norristown, by the left side of that Norristown defense.
The score is now with 6:49 left in the third quarter. It's Souderton 17 and Norristown 20.
All right, well, Souderton's threatening again, moving the ball downfield.
Long shots to short spurts on the ground.
All right, Franklin again, hands off to Shawley. Shawley taken down at about the 35-yard line. Norristown.
Even though Norristown has the lead here, a nest full of Eagles, a little bit of a pun happening in the. I thought it was better than the crowd gave it credit for. We have kind of a mutual admiration society going on here tonight in the booth. Maybe it was.
Thank you, crowd. Thanks.
Okay, second down at 7. 5:54 now in the third quarter. Norristown 20, Souderton 17. Here's the handoff. Kramarenko again gets loose. He's running. And finally, oh, that was a late hit. That was a late hit. That was a late hit by Ron Davis. And the fans are showing their showing with boos.
A surprising decision by Davis on that play. It appears as if his forward progress had been stopped, and then at the last minute, Davis comes to deliver the coup de grace, but no flag for some reason.
Yeah. Okay, hand off to Kramarenko, and he's finally taken down after a nice gain.
Kramarenko brings it right back, and he runs it right up the gut with typical John Riggins-esque explosiveness. So Norristown has yet to cure that. They have no cure for Kramarenko in the fullback dive. And he shows once again why he's the leading rusher for the Souderton Indians this year.
Okay, approaching the 5-minute mark here in the third quarter. It's 20-17, Norristown leading the Souderton Indians. Right now, Souderton has the ball on Norristown's 12.
That's a handoff.
Handoff and Shally.
They're dissecting this defense with surgical precision. I feel like I'm watching an episode of House or another medical show or like Grey's Anatomy, ER or something like that. They're just dissecting them with surgical precision.
And we have a Norristown player down on the field. I can't quite make out the number. Dennis Flynn, athletic trainer, makes his way out on the field.
So Norristown and Souderton, it appears like they're just content with like. Do you ever watch one of those Rocky movies? You know how the level of boxing is not something you would ever see in a real fight,
right.
And it's just two fighters slugging each other as hard as they can, and just throwing these wild haymakers. I guess that's what they're going to do tonight. And they're just going to the last man standing is going to win the game. Kind of like old-time naval warfare, where the two ships would just line up against each other and unleash barrages of broadsides until one ship could no longer fire back. I guess both teams have just decided that playing defense, maybe it's not for them. Maybe they're not going to do it tonight. And they're just going to try scoring more than the other team. If it works, Steve. But I don't know. I'd be hesitant to go toe-to-toe with such an explosive offense. But Norristown is throwing down the gauntlet, and they're knuckling up. Neither team seems to have all that much interest in playing any defense.
All right, that's 68 for Norristown. That is Curtis Haley. He's taking it very slowly off the field to be lipping under the assistance there of athletic trainer Dennis Flynn. So we hope he is fine and whatever is wrong there with Curtis will be taken care of. So we're at 4:41 now to go in the third quarter. It is second down and 3.
If Souderton's been paying any attention to what's been going on, they're going to give it to Kramarenko on this play, and he's going to score a touchdown.
We're out on the line here.
Kramarenko is, let's see, at the...
I was pretty close. My Nostradamus-esque penchant for prediction, it's pretty good. Of course, it didn't exactly take a Nostradamus to predict that one. He's been running all over him all game.
And that he has. First and goal for the Indians now as we're under the 4-minute mark here in the third quarter. Norristown up 20-17, but for how much longer?
Not much longer, Steve.
Here's the handoff to Kramarenko, and he is in for the touchdown. So on the second try, Kramarenko gets in for the touchdown.
Well, the interior of Souderton's offensive line is dominating the interior of Norristown's defensive line. but neither team has been playing especially what I would call expert defense. And like I said, it's two teams who are just seem to be content with slugging it out here, and neither team has all that much interest in playing defense.
All right, the extra point is good for Souderton. So with 3 minutes 47 seconds in the third quarter, Souderton regains the lead 24-20.
Terrible attempt at
Okay, so again, Norristown will go on offense. It's been the battle back and forth on offense.
Battle back and forth. It's like in hockey at the end where they just have the shootout, just like that.
That's right.
24-20 game. Defenses are giving up huge chunks of yards. It's like one of those like land grabs back in the old Oklahoma where people just stake out huge claims of land. Running backs, Camarenko and Booker are just going back and forth like staking out these really huge claims of lands. You could build a farm on the amount of acreage that these guys have covered tonight, and it would be a really big farm. I mean, it wouldn't be like one of those small farms like you see, like 2 acres and they'll call it a farm. No, this would be like one of those 800-acre Missouri farms.
Once again, kicking off for Indians, Leo. Deep man back for the Eagles.
Okay, Sean Leo back to kick off for the Indians. His kickoff, nice kick. Right to Sheldon Mayer.
just barely.
Here comes Mayer. Tries to break a tackle, but he's met and taken down.
Norristown's got a lot of real estate to cover right now, Steve. This is less than advantageous field position for the Norristown Eagles as they're going to be starting off in a decided hole. Norristown's going to be starting from like the 9.5-yard line, so they've got 99.5 yards to go if they're going to take the lead back from Souderton.
I formation. Graham hands off to Booker, and Booker's tackled. And yet we've seen that play's not been working at all this evening.
That play's not been working. The plays that have been working are the ones where Booker's gone inside, and Booker's gotten help inside from the interior of his defense or offensive line. Off tackle's not cutting it tonight. Those Souderton defensive ends have been doing too good a job.
All right.
When Norristown went misdirection, it did work. So we'll see if Coach Smith goes back to that.
Second down and 11.
Second 11, actually.
Flags. Go flying.
Flag here looks like.
Souderton may have jumped, may have misjudged the count here. It'll be a nice little break for Norristown. But they can't count on that. They can't count on the charity and generosity of others. Norristown's really got to stand on their own 2 feet here and put together a long and sustained drive.
All right, 2 minutes and 50 seconds now to go in the third quarter. Second down and 6. Ball on Norristown's own 14-yard line. There we go, another flag.
Little Dancing with the Stars kind of action going out there tonight. People jumping, people dancing. Looks actually more, instead of like Dancing with the Stars, it looks more like a kind of a river dance. It's like a Michael Flatley kind of move on the front, by the front of the Norristown offensive line. 5 of them moved in choreographed perfect precision, although it was the wrong snap count. They still moved as one unit. So that was kind of neat.
Still second down and 11. Ball's on their Eagles' 9-yard line right now with 2:20 to play in the third quarter. Here's the snap. Graham rolls, looks. Graham's just going to take it finally, passes it. This one to Dinolfi, and he connects. Dinolfi has it, and he's continuing, and he's finally taken down at the 45. Again, Alex Dinolfi, big play.
If I've said it once, I said it 1,000 times. And if I said it 1,000 times, this doesn't work the other way, does it?
No.
If you pass to Dinolfi, you're going to win. If you don't do it, you're going to lose.
Okay, so Norristown, let's see if they get a little life in them at this point. Minute 54 to go in the third quarter. First set of downs, 1st and 10. Graham, hands off. Booker up the middle, takes it just shy of midfield. Let's see where they're going to give him the spot. Yeah.
Probably give him, but it looks like picked up 4 yards on that play. Good solid run by Booker behind an impressive effort by the right side of that offensive line. Norristown up to the 49.5-yard line. About to drive across midfield. And neither team, again, interested in playing defense.
2nd down and 6. Graham pitches it back.
And he stops.
Brandon Ellis there.
Pickup of a couple by Brandon Ellis, going to bring up 3rd down and about 3.
Okay, 48 seconds and counting down here to go in the third quarter. I'll bring up 3rd down and 3 for Norristown.
40 seconds and clock winding down. Score.
Ball on the Souderton 47.
Now, Steve, a question here. If Norristown doesn't make it here on 3rd down, they punt this, right? Conventional wisdom says yes, but I don't know.
And this is a different game here, and anything's open. Oh, Ellis there trips a little bit, slide around, and finally taken down. Well, we'll see what Norristown does, but you know what? Right now, it's really a tough decision. What do? Do you pass? Do you go for it, or do you just punt away?
I know that it might be tough here to say this, but I think that you do punt here. Even though the punts haven't yielded the best field position so far, I think that you punt here on 4th down just to give your defense a chance to redeem itself. Defense has not been playing a good game, but neither defense has really been playing what you're going to call a good game. So what has to happen here is you need to show to your defense that you still have some confidence in them, kick them back, pin them deep, make sure you get good coverage, and let your defense do something. Because if they don't come up big here, you're not going to win this game.
Well, we have 12 minutes of football to play, and Norristown will probably punt it away. We don't quite know yet. We'll see what they decide to do. And if you just joined us, Steve Acapino back with Dave Vizzini here on NASD TV channel 27. The Norristown Eagles versus the Souderton Indians. Souderton leads it as we're going into the fourth quarter, 24-20. Norristown came out really strong here in the beginning of the game, but has since failed to get any momentum going here on a drive.
Yeah, a couple big plays from Graham to Denalfi, including 2 touchdowns from Graham to Denalfi, and a couple good, solid runs by Matt Booker and Ron Davis. But other than that, the Eagles have not been able to sustain anything so far. That's been really a productive and long drive. They are going for it here on 4th.
All right, Norristown goes for it, and here's Russell Graham. Russell Graham's in trouble right away. Ball's fumbled, and it's picked up by Booker. And let's see.
Oops.
Well, amazing. That's all I can say is amazing.
Like I said, oops.
All right. That lasted for 9 seconds, so 1st and 10, Souderton will take over. They have the ball on Norristown's 30-yard line. Here's the handoff to Shally. Shally running, and he's just going. He's breaking to the outside and finally taken down. This kind of looks a little bit like last play.
I almost feel guilty for having given Souderton that tip to run the ball all the time.
Well, we can't explain how Souderton's offense is playing right now. If you were to see the stats, you would have known this going in, that this team has a stellar offense, and they're playing like it tonight.
Souderton's offense is fun to watch, Steve. What's funny, they're so much fun to watch, and it's very clear that these statistics they're not misleading. These statistics very accurately characterize this Souderton team as a good one. They're tough and they play hard, and they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. And normally, when a team relies on gimmicks, it's a team that's built on a less than solid foundation. But this Souderton team has a solid foundation, and they're playing some good football tonight.
All right, under 11 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Here's the run in and the touchdown. Justin Powell with the touchdown. Make that 30 now to 20. Souderton. Extra point pending.
Extra point is pending. It's 30 to 20 Souderton. And Norristown, it's time for Norristown. It's gut check time. This is a must-score drive here for the Eagles.
Here's Leo in for the PTA. It's up. So the extra point is good.
This is closer than many of the prognosticators had picked. And Norristown still definitely has a chance to win this game. But Norristown has not been doing themselves any favors on defense here in the second half.
Well, it's still 10 minutes, 51 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. It's now 31-20. Souderton has taken a 11-point lead. And now it's time for Norristown to start experimenting with, I think, a few different things. I mean, what do you have left? I mean, they can stop Booker with the run. Again, I'm with you on the pass.
You have Denalfi and Graham. You have that combination. They can't cover Denalfi, and Graham can get the ball to him. The offense for Norristown tonight has not necessarily been a problem. The problem that Norristown's been having this evening has been on defense. What Norristown needs to do is score here and then stop them.
All right, here comes Mayer with the return. Oh, and he's taken down with a blistering hit.
It looks like a vicious hit. And Scully, but a vicious hit on Sheldon Mayer. That was real close to being a face mask.
I thought I was watching a John Carpenter film.
Wow.
Is it Halloween all over again?
Big hit. Big hit.
Well, let's see. Norristown has it on their 21-yard line. 10:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Here we go. Russell Graham has it. He'll pass. Let's see. That one is incomplete to Sheldon Mayer.
I think I hit upon it, Steve. The reason they play these songs, the bands, is because they're easily choreographable. Like if they played like selections from the movie, I don't know, selections from Chicago, or like if they played like Les Miserables, they would have to do a lot more complex choreography. So I guess I get the Gary Glitter thing.
Second down and 10. Graham's back. He's passing, and that one's way over the head. That's number 86, Brandon Smith. That pass was intended for, but that'll bring up third down and 10.
Looks like Graham is trying to force things now, and it's not necessarily in his best interest to try to force the ball.
All right, the clock has stopped at 10 minutes, 36 seconds now in the fourth quarter. Third down and 10 for Norristown. Ball still on Norristown's 21-yard line. Souderton leads it by 11, 31-20 over Norristown. Here goes the snap to Graham. Graham is in trouble again, under pressure, looks, rolls, finally still running with the ball is Russell Graham, and he's finally taken down. So he does get back to the line of scrimmage, but still nothing there.
He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and Souderton's defense has awakened. Souderton's defense is keying on Graham's athleticism and his arm, and they're making sure that he's not getting outside of the pocket, giving his receivers more time to get open. Good job on coverage there, and they've done a good job pressuring Graham. He's been sacked several times here this evening, and the Eagles' offensive line has been unable to really do anything to stop it. Graham had some time there, but he had to scramble just a little bit too much.
9:48 now to go in the fourth quarter. Fourth down and 10. Norristown will punt. Punt is up. Shally trying to get past. Finally does break the defender, and he's still going. Shally's on the loose. Nobody can stop him. He's still moving, and finally brought down by number 11, Mike Good. The floodgates are open, and Shally followed it.
That was sloppy coverage. I'm trying to reach into my bag of adjectives, and I think we'll go with sloppy, just because this is a family show.
It's first down on Norristown's 18.
Good coverage there. Nice hit by George Washington. Number 50, George Washington, chops him down.
I thought I saw Martha out in the stands earlier. No, maybe I was mistaken. But anyway, it is 9:05 to go now in the fourth quarter. Okay, second down, 13. Kramarenko again breaks through, and Souderton again threatening.
He is like Megatron. That's what he reminds me of, Megatron. Like in the Transformers, Megatron would always be the guy you could never stop. Like Optimus would always try. All the time, every single episode of the Transformers, they would defeat him. But Megatron would keep coming back. Joe Kramarenko is exactly like Megatron. He might not be a robot that can transform into other things. He might not be. I mean, I don't know. He's bowling over the Norristown defense like they're not even there. Megatron. That's it. Megatron.
I have a feeling that won't be on the SAT. That won't be an SAT word. Would it, Megatron? No.
Megatron's no, but that's what he reminds me of. He's just he's this destructive, unstoppable force from another world, just like Megatron.
Right.
So there's the comparison.
Oh man, the Souderton Indians have it on the Norristown 7-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 7. Here's the handoff. Shally in for the touchdown. Chris Shally. It is now 37-20 Souderton with 8:01 to go in the fourth quarter.
The defense was keyed on Megatron, and they handed it off round end, and touchdown is 37-20, pending the extra point with 8 minutes here to go in the fourth. And this has gone a little bit out of hand.
Kick is up, and it's good, so it's now 38-20.
A little more than 8 minutes left in the game.
Souderton, so 8:01 is on the clock, and right now, what's Norristown thinking about?
Norristown is thinking about how to stop number 34. And they've got to keep thinking about it, because when Souderton gets the ball back, I guarantee you they're going to run the ball right up the middle, and they're going to pound it right up the middle. Norristown needs a score here. They need to get a recover an onside kick, and then they need to score again. And this needs to happen in rapid succession. Norristown's had some success on onside kicks here in the not-too-distant past, but history needs to repeat itself tonight, Steve.
Well, as the old saying is, it's always easier to walk downhill than it is to climb uphill, and Norristown is climbing uphill at this point and under an extraordinary amount of pressure. And again, it's going to see how it affects their thinking. I mean, at this point, I know from experience, when you're put in these types of situations, you tend to overthink. You start to ask too many questions, and you don't complete your objective.
That's exactly right. Well, Norristown's objective is clear. They have to score 18 points in 8 minutes.
So who's going to kick off here?
All right, Leo to kick off. Oh, Mayer mishandles it. And he is not taken down yet. Mayer's still on the ground. Mayer's running. Breaks through. Mayer's still running. He's got the speed. Let's see. Mayer's still going. 30 down.
He is yanked out. 25.
At the 25-yard line, explosive run by Sheldon Mayer.
He certainly turned what could have been complete and utter disaster into a very fortunate occurrence for the Norristown Eagles. What a great run by 25 Sheldon Mayer, and that's exactly what the Norristown Eagles needed to happen. If they're going to have any prayer of winning this game, they need to score right here, right now.
7 minutes, 45 seconds now in the fourth quarter. First down and 10.
Stopped at the ball carrier. Wow.
Graham, hands off right away. Again, I would have probably not done that.
Graham's going to need to put the ball in the air here and soon, because Norristown, time is of the essence at this point, because the Norristown Eagles have shown that they're not having too much success stopping the run tonight. Because of that, Souderton can chew up a lot of clock. So time is of the essence.
I mean, everything's on Graham's side right now. He's got a receiver out there he knows that can connect with him. And number two, the air is thin at this point. It's not muggy, so
right.
He's got some extra help.
He's got some time. No wind resistance, and the air is not muggy or dense.
6:57 now in the fourth quarter. Second down and 9. Graham back, passes to Sheldon Mayer, and Mayer is dragged out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Like Berge gets off the tackle and just gets dragged out of bounds.
Third down, 4.
And that'll be a pickup.
So it's going to be about 3rd and 4 here with 6:48 left to go in the game. Norristown down by a score of 38-20. Megatron's a two-way player there. He's out there on defense, too. They're using their prized offensive star out there on defense. Well, he's had a good, solid game on both sides of the ball.
So Graham goes under center yet again. Goes out for a pass. Another outside.
Here's the pass there to
And
Anthony Roby.
so he got the first down and knocked over the marker.
Picked up a couple yards there, but I'm never going to like that wide receiver screen. I think they're doing it to try to convince me that it's a good play. I'm not sold on it, guys.
First and 10, Eagles.
Plays in a row. Brings up first and 10 for Norristown on South 14. Now inside the red zone.
All right, Graham has it, and he'll throw.
Outside to the corner.
And that one is
And
it? Hold on, let's see what the call is here.
Interception.
Interception.
intercepted by Souderton.
Well, my
Brown makes the catch.
Well,
fears have come true here.
you got to give Graham credit. He went for it. He let his receiver go up and try to get it, and it was just picked off. And that was a good play by Souderton. A hard-fought contest tonight, but But Souderton is clearly in the driver's seat. Clearly in the driver's seat. This will probably be a series of several handoffs in a row, each carving up swaths of yardage. And hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they don't score again. But it's looking grim.
All right, so again, this dangerous offense goes to work for Souderton. Nice run by Ryan Brown. So now they have the ball at their own 41-yard line, does Souderton, with 6 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Here comes the first down and then some. And it brings them out to their own 41.
Indian first and 10. CB's big game.
Flying goes under.
Here's the handoff.
Handoff.
A little more of
Nice
that.
gain there.
A little more of that dipsy-do stuff. Doesn't work, but it really doesn't matter at this point. They just need to worry about chewing up clock.
Got his arm in there and
Let's look at some of these totals. This are mind-boggling for Souderton. If their game versus Springford 34-13 wins that one. Against Quakertown, Souderton 42-0 in that one. The only loss that they've had was against North Penn, which was they were shut out. So this team is really rolling and they're scoring high too in these games.
Yeah, these games are definitely high-scoring affairs. We didn't even, we really couldn't comprehend just how good this Souderton team was. But looking at these scores, the 42-0 pasting of Quakertown, the just shellacking last week of Hatboro Horsham. The crowd expresses their displeasure as a Jimmy Buffett concert breaks out in the middle of the football game.
The only thing we're missing here is Margaritaville, and 25 right here is Justin Powell again with the run.
Well, their frowns have just turned upside down as another cheeseburger in paradise has just been served up and racking up impressive gains. 4:08, 4:07 as the clock ticks inexorably onward.
Boy, doesn't it seem when you're down that the clock seems to go even faster?
It sure does.
Where has the time gone? I think that's what Norristown's thinking at this point, but that's even if they can comprehend this offense from Souderton.
By showing their talents, he's getting a lot of us play. But he's a junior, he's still got time.
Here's the handoff again to Brown.
Pushing match down there.
A little bit of a Greco-Roman wrestling match going on down there with 3:30 left in the game.
Well, we've talked about it earlier. Now with this game, depending on the outcome, win or lose, Norristown would have liked to get the win, but they are still not out of the playoffs, even if they lose this game.
No, Norristown's very much still in the thick of the playoff hunt. It would they would have been masters of their own destiny had they been able to win tonight.
Ball's fumbled, but recovered.
Booker makes the play.
I guess this is just one of these games where Norristown could say, okay, this is what we did right, and this is what we didn't do correctly. And the best thing is that they can learn something from these games, and that's what they should do, is learn something from it.
Well, here's what they did right. What they did right was they took advantage of the Graham to Denolfi connection. Norristown completed there a couple times. Coach E.J. Smith opened it up a little bit in the passing game with great success. But when you're down, like they've been in the second half, you really have to press, and when you press, you very rarely make your best decisions. The offense has been fairly solid. The defense has not been. Tackling is an issue that definitely needs to be addressed, and giving up these yards on the ground is something that's not, you're not going to beat anyone giving up this many yards on the ground because your defensive line is just taking a beating. They're out there all game. Souderton's chewing up the clock, gaining huge amounts of yardage, and you're not doing your defensive line any favors, and you're not doing anybody any favors with this.
I feel like I'm in a Philadelphia Eagles game at this point.
I'm glad it's not snowing.
We are Souderton fans. We do not hate the man for doing his job. Let's hear it for Cal. Give a nice round of applause. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, 2:49 now left in the fourth quarter. Souderton has it, and there's a flag.
Looks like a false start.
Handoff 21, but there's a penalty marker down.
And that was a there's a flag on the play.
Everybody's getting into the dancing action. The band and the cheerleaders have kind of a dancing routine. It's kind of a back and forth. It looks like some sort of like a competition. Pretty neat. Of course, when you're winning, you can pretty much do whatever you want, and it looks cool. Over on Norristown side, people aren't looking so happy.
All right, clock's at 2 minutes 44 seconds here in the fourth quarter, and then be third down and 15.
So brings up a third and 15. There's a false start on the play before.
Here comes Franklin.
And
Hand off again,
Handoff 9, Baroni.
Brony, but he's stopped.
and not much there for
Very short.
Eric Bruni.
Marcus Robbins makes the tackle. Good tackle there.
Fourth down.
So that'll bring up a 4th and 15.
Norristown calls timeout.
Timeout taken by Norristown.
All right, so with 2 minutes and 38 seconds, it still remains 38-20 Souderton.
38 seconds.
And again, I feel like it takes me back to the Nagano Olympics in '98. Still watching the Czech Republic pummel the Canadian hockey team in overtime.
Yeah.
I still recall that, and for some reason, I still have the same feeling here right now.
Well, the difference is that this was a hard-fought contest up until a couple minutes ago. Souderton just opened the floodgates, and their powerful offense just took over. Norristown did a fairly good job kind of containing them to a certain degree for the first 3 quarters of the game. But after that, Souderton's offense just showed their complete and utter dominance. And their running game was beyond impressive. This offense truly is a treat to watch.
Yeah, stick to the
Looks like they're going for it on 4th and 16.
Very odd call.
Here's the switch again. Again, another one of those creative plays that Souderton has come up with.
Yeah, those inside handoffs for Souderton have been working very well all game. And I tell you, as a former football player myself, and as someone who's played Souderton in the past, their offensive philosophy really hasn't changed that much in many years. They've been with the inside handoff, the misdirection, and that's how it's been going on. It's a good, solid offense. Handoffs inside, a lot of misdirection, a lot of trickery, and it's easy to fool somebody with that. Good, solid running.
Southern defense was spread out here, probably expecting a pass.
Here's Russell Graham's passage completed.
Pass quick outside.
And Shelter Bear was tackled immediately there.
Picked up by number 25, Mayer, but
Clock's ticking down. 2:14 now to go in the fourth quarter. Souderton still leads it 38-20 over Norristown. Souderton's homecoming, so a homecoming win, as we know, feels good, and especially since Norristown won their homecoming game last week.
Yeah, a homecoming win always feels good, and the band is spirited, and they've got a little bit of some old-timey music pumping there, and got everybody fired up.
All right, Graham with the pass. It's down the middle and caught. To Alex Denolfi.
Russell Graham putting up some big yardage here at the end of the game.
Here comes Russell Graham. Graham's in trouble. He rolls. Here's the pass. Russell Graham throws it. Nobody there for Russell Graham. With a minute 33, that stops the clock here in the fourth quarter. And that'll bring up second down and 10. All right, here's the snap to Graham. Graham runs, throws, and that one right through the hands of Sheldon Mayer.
A little too hot for Mayer right there. Minute and 28 seconds left to go in the game.
That brings up third down and 10 for Norristown.
So that brings up third and 10. That's all I'm not seeing.
Well, I think we've hit that morning period where we pretty much can't say anything.
Yeah, there's nothing to say that would add to the broadcast right now. It's just been, the second half has been kind of a...
there's a nice block there. Almost picked off by number 88.
This second half has not been Norristown's most precise and well-played second half. A little bit of a Apache being played by the Souderton Indians marching band. That's new. See, I haven't actually heard too many marching bands do this one, so this is a little different. Harkening back to the comments I made in the first half about the unoriginality of marching bands. I like this choice. This is a good choice. This is something fun to get people moving and dancing to. Everybody's dancing. Even some of the football players are down there.
Pass picked up there by
some of the football players are down there dancing, too.
So the choice of trying to go for it on fourth down did not pay off for the Eagles.
Okay, so the Eagles will turn over on downs.
Looks like the Indians will take over.
1 minute and 15 seconds to go in this game, and I have a feeling that Souderton will hang on here and win.
Yeah,
this game.
That's a pretty safe bet.
I think so. I think I can bet that one and be safe. Well, the turning point I really think in this game was when Norristown was, basically riding high after those two turnovers, and they scored. And really after that, when Souderton came right back and had those quick scores, that it really, turned this game around. And Norristown was thinking about something else than passing or getting the job done out there.
That's what good teams do, Steve. Good teams, Souderton's not 6-1 for no reason. Now they're 7-1. They're that way because they can face adversity and come back. Not looking at their scores, it's clear that they haven't had to face that much adversity. They've been destroying every team that they've played. But this game, they were down 14-0 to Norristown, and they came back and they showed a lot of poise and skill in coming back and doing a good job winning this game. They're a good team, and Norristown has to face teams like this, and they have to now beat them if they're going to want to do anything in the playoffs this year. Norristown was poised very much before this game to be the masters of their own destiny for the playoff hunt. Now Norristown's going to have to work a little bit harder. Next week, Norristown's got Hatboro Horsham. The week after that, they have CB West. The week after that, they have PW. Norristown's going to have to win out for the playoff chances. The Norristown is going to fall to 5-3. And Souderton is going to roll to an impressive 7-1. And the Norristown Eagles, this is a tough one. Good game for the longest time, Steve, but then in the second half it all fell apart.
Well, it just seemed like Norristown couldn't get it going on both sides of the ball in the second half. They had a lot of trouble. I really don't think that they thought about what they were doing, and they rather made their judgment out there. basically rush judgment, as you said before. It looked like a lot of those plays were rushed.
Yep.
And let's see if Norristown can bounce back. This is a team of competitors, and in my mind, they will bounce back.
I believe Norristown will bounce back. This was just tough. They faced a brick wall against Souderton, and their defense did not do a very good job tonight. Their defense did not do a good job tackling, and this is uncharacteristic for the Norristown area high school Eagles, because Norristown has been, their strength this year has been that defense. You know, Russ Graham leads with a lot of poise. Alex Denalfi does a good job. Brandon Ellis, impressive on offense, as is Matt Booker and Sheldon Mayer and the rest of the guys, impressive on offense. But what has not been done this year so far is putting the two together of the defense and the offense. And for Norristown to make noise in the playoff hunt, that's what they have to do.
Well, that'll about wrap it up here at Souderton High School. Norristown falls to the Indians of Souderton 38-20 here on Souderton's homecoming night. For my colleague Dave Vicini and Evan Mitchell, our cameraman, take care. From Souderton, Pennsylvania, I'm Steve Agavino saying we hope to catch you back here next time on NASD TV Channel 27. Take care, everybody, and good night.